Okay, so let's get started with our 10 oil pastel techniques. So in your visual journal, don't tear out your page, just use one of those sheets. We are going to lay out the 10 areas where we're going to practice all of these techniques. So take a ruler. For this first technique, I'm going to be blending white into another color. So it always works best when you use the darker color first. So I'm going to do this. This one already broke previously, so I'm just going to take that out. And I'm going to press down really hard to start with so that I can really get that pigment into the paper. And then I'm going to slowly pick up the pressure as I get farther along to the left, like that. Then I'm going to blend the white into the darker color. So it always works best if you start with the white on this side and then move this way. Check and make sure that it is not dirty with other colors, because the other colors will stick onto it, and then if it's got reds or purples or other colors into it, then it's going to mess up your color. So just get a paper towel and wipe it off if that's the case. So I'm going to start over here and I'm going to press down really hard, and then I'm going to blend into. Now don't pick up your oil pastel. Keep going, keep going, keep going. I'm just pressing down, same pressure all the way across. And then I'm going to pick up before I get to the end so that I have enough of this pure color right here. Now, do you see what happens here? This is when you need to just get a paper towel and clean it off. You also, with oil pastel, you get these little chunks like this right here. See those little chunks? Those are chunks that some people don't like, and they end up brushing it. And if you end up brushing it like this, it's just going to smear across your paper. So try to not do that. Sometimes if that happens, I'll take those little chunks like that and I'll stick them back on. And then I just take them with my finger and I blend them in like this. That way it doesn't get everywhere all over your paper. Okay, so just do that. So there's your first technique. So this would be a way to tint a color. So now I'm going to switch to a gray color, and I think I'll use an orange for this one. Okay, so what I want to do is start with my orange first on this side. I'm going to press down really hard and do exactly what I did with the first green color. And I'm picking up my pressure, and then completely off so that you've got some white area right there. So then I've got my gray. I'm going to start pressing fairly hard into the orange. I'm still pressing fairly hard. And then I'm just going to start picking up my pressure just slightly and then let loose. So you have your pure color here. So this is a tint and this is a tone. Tinting, adding white, toning, adding grays to your color. Now notice that this one left quite a bit of chunks kind of all over, if you can see that. Here's one here. And there's some here. Just kind of clean those up real carefully and gently. I've got a paper towel here. I can either smear them in with my fingers like that, or just put it on my paper towel. But either way, just kind of clean that up. Okay, so our next one is going to be a shade. So I'm going to start with black. Anytime you shade a color, you add black to it. So I'm going to start pressing down really hard and then lightening up as I go. Light, 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 and then pick it up so that you have some pure white over here. And then I'm going to use this purpley, it's kind of like a red-violet color. So I'm going to start here. I'm going to do the same thing, pressing down fairly hard. Press down really hard. And then you're just lightening up as you continue into the black. And then just pick it up. Okay? You're going to end up with lots of black on here, so I would just clean that up. Clean that up. Please don't take these and just throw them onto the floor. Check it, you know, take your finger and kind of press those little chunks in there, and I think that would work out much better than swiping it across your page. Okay, there we go. So you've got your tint, your tone, and your shade now. Now let's take a color and go from black all the way to white. Since black will be my darkest color, I'm going to start first. And I'm just going to press down really hard. And I'm going to start lightening up right now. And then let it loose. Really, really light right there. Don't go any farther than halfway. Okay? Then what I'm going to do is take my color and I'm going to start here. And then I'm going to keep going, and then I'm going to let loose and lift up right there. Don't go all the way to the end. Leave a significant amount of white right there. Okay. Then I'm going to take my white. I'm going to make sure that I have cleaned it. See that green right there from previous? Just clean it off and make it real clean. And then, see, I've got chunks. Just leave them. And then I'm going to start here. I would hold down low so you don't break it. And then just go into your blue like this, and then lift up so that you have some pure blue here in the middle, okay? Then you've got your white gradually, you know, tinting on this side, going to a pure blue in the middle, and then shading on this side. Okay, then spend some time cleaning it off. You can see that my fingers, the oil pastel, guys, is really soft. I noticed that this particular brand is really, really soft. Some are not as soft as this, but I would just spend time before you move on. Find some clean fingers. Definitely don't take that gray and start fixing areas with the gray, and then I've got some pink or some blue on there. I've got black on there. Don't fix this area with your black because that would be a disaster. This finger is clean, so if I have any chunks that I need to just kind of smash in, I think it's better to go ahead and make those little chunks part of your artwork and press it down in there. Since these oil pastels are really soft, I would rather do that than try to brush them off, because then you just make more messes, okay? But just spend some time fixing these little areas that you can see. I've got something right here that I want to get rid of. Okay. And then we can always protect whenever we are finished with this. I will give you a sheet of paper and we will lay it on top of all these techniques and just keep that on it as you close your book. That way, all of these colors don't end up transferring to the opposite page, because that will happen, okay? Okay, so now we're ready to tackle all of these blends over here. This first one, your top left, is a heavy pressure blend. So I'm gonna start with the blue. I picked blue and red. And I'm going to press down really hard on this side and then lighten up all the way to the end, okay? Leave some white for the red, so you've got some pure red right here. And then I'm going to press down hard with the red and then lighten up in the middle and then I should get a good purple. So red and blue making purple, okay? And then go ahead, and I've got quite a few chunks on this one. Go ahead and just smooth those in. Okay, remember that your finger is dirty, so clean it up in case you accidentally want to clean up another spot. Just make sure it's clean. And that way you don't end up with a mess. And then I can fix that red. There's just little chunks there. Fix that red, and then we'll move on to our next one. Now this one over here is a light pressure blend. So we're gonna do the same thing we did here, except we're not gonna press down as hard. So I'm gonna go light, and then light. There we go. Okay. Then here's a chunk. Fix that little chunk right there. And then if I wanted to, I could do a couple swipes right in the middle just to get that blending done a little bit better. But that's how that works. Light pressure, so heavy pressure blend and a light pressure blend. Okay, so the next one is kind of fun. It's called stippling. It's where you use little dots of color. Okay, so there are artists that do stippling, and we'll discuss and talk about them. But it's just little dots of color like this. Okay, the closer they get, the more intense it is, right? And then the lighter you want it to be, your dots are just farther apart. So then I'm going to switch to my red. I'm going to blend those just a little bit. Okay. Blend that a little bit. And then I'm going to start with blue on this side. So you want two colors going into each other, but they're also mixing quite a bit, aren't they? So when the blues and the oranges mix here, we're going to end up with shades of brown in the middle. And then the red and blue are going to mix a little bit, and then we're going to end up with shades of purple as well. Okay. I can add more blues on this side just to make it a little bit darker. But this is called stippling, okay? And it's also called pointillism. There was an artist named George Seurat who invented this, and we'll discuss him in class. Okay, the next one is called scumbling, which is a lot of fun, and I think you probably learned it in your Drawing 1 class, but it's basically just like scribbling. And you can also go in and create really cool textures in nature this way. So I'm just kind of scribbling a little bit on that side, and then I'll do the same thing with this blue. Okay, it's almost like, just close your eyes and just scribble and then see what happens. Sometimes you get some really cool effects. So that is kind of what that looks like. Quick, simple, and easy, right? Now what you can do with this is go over it with white and see what happens. Kind of looks pretty, actually. Anytime you add white with oil pastels, white makes it look really pretty. Okay, the next one is Sgraffito. So I'm going to start with this dark color, and I'm going to color it in really dark. And then I'm going to take even a darker, sorry, I shouldn't have said dark. Actually choose a lighter color and then a darker color on top. So I'm going to add this red on top. Okay, so lighter color first, darker color on top. And then what I'm going to do is just take anything that you're going to draw into it. So I'm just going to take the end of this pen that I was using, and I'm just going to draw into it. Okay, and do whatever I want. And this is a very cool technique if you're doing background. A background color. You want to go in and do some fine details on top. This is a great technique to use. And then if you end up with chunks, you can use something really small, like the tip of a pencil or something, to lift those up. Or if you have nails like Mrs. Olds, of course you can pick up with your nails. But just remember that this is very fragile. This technique, when you're working on it, you really do need a cover paper to keep it covered. And you really need to make sure that it doesn't get bumped or scratched or scraped, because then your fine details that you're carving into those areas will get ruined. You might have to go over and redo it. So this is called sgraffito. Okay, this last one is called a pressure blend. We're gonna use a paper towel for part of it. We're gonna go with the orange, the red, and the blue, okay? Do light, just start with maybe blue on one side, do very light, okay? And then orange on the other side, kind of light again, and then some red in the middle, okay? Not real dark like this, real light. And then what I'm gonna do is take the paper towel and fold it like this, and then fold it in half, okay? And then use just a corner, find a corner like this. And then you're just gonna use that corner to do little swirls, press down on your paper. And this is the pressure blend that I was talking about. So you're just blending, and it should almost look like a nice smooth transition. This is great for, you know, one layer of water possibly. You can do nice transitions into the sky. Maybe you've got like a misty background, maybe you have a pretty sunset. So this is perfect for things like that. Okay, now let's label this. It's called 10 Oil Pastel Techniques. Okay, this one is my tint. This is my tone. This one here is my shade. Oops. Okay, and this one's white to black. White to black. This one is a heavy pressure blend. This one is a light pressure blend. Okay. This one is stippling, or they call it pointillism as well. This one is scumbling, sorry. Sgraffito, S-G-R-A-F-F-I-T-O, sgraffito. This last one is a pressure blend. Okay, so these are your 10 beginner oil pastel techniques that you can practice, and then let's make some art using some of these techniques.